When people think about hacking, they imagine complex software, lines of code, and glowing screens full of text. But what if some of the most serious security failures never touch software at all? What if they begin with something far simpler, something familiar, something you trust without a second thought? To begin, let's start with the most trusted physical connection your computer has. Hack on a USB device control a computer without installing any software. Because not all USB devices identify themselves as storage, some identify as keyboards. When a keyboard is plugged in, the operating system assumes a human is present and authorized no type. No confirmation is required. Devices like keystroke injection tools exploit this trust model. They send pre-programmed input at machine speed and the computer treats it exactly like real typing. This is a design choice. Keyboards have to be trusted instantly or computers become unusable. Now remove one object people are trained to be cautious around. What if the dangerous device isn't a USB stick, but the actual cable itself? Some cables contain embedded microcontrollers that allow them to behave like USB devices, while still functioning as normal charging or data cables. At first glance, they seem like ordinary charging cables. They charge your phone, transfer data, and that's exactly what makes them so effective in security demonstrations. Some people instinctively share cables in offices, airports, and other public spaces, without often thinking about the potential risks. The danger doesn't come from complexity, it comes from familiarity. We see cables as harmless everyday objects, forgetting the USB as an active communication protocol capable of transferring data as well as power. Physical connection isn't the only place trust is assumed. Why do devices connect to the wrong Wi-Fi so easily? Because Wi-Fi prioritizes convenience. Phones and laptops actively search the network they're connected to before. If a stronger signal appears using the same network name, many devices will connect automatically. Rogue access points exploits this behavior, but follows this programming to choose the strongest familiar network. When with encryption in place, metadata remains exposed. Observers can still track connection timing, traffic volume, and usage patterns. This leads us to a device that makes security feel suddenly tangible. Well, why did the small handheld gadget make governments and companies so nervous? Because it combines multiple wireless technology into one visible tool. Devices like the Flipper Zero can interact with infrared signals, RFID, NFC cards, and sub-gigahertz radio used by many consumer systems. It doesn't automatically break security, it actually interacts with signals that already exist. That visibility is what changed perception. Vulnerabilities that once felt abstract became something people could hold. The device didn't create new weaknesses. It rather exposed how many systems still rely on outdated assumptions. To understand what matters, we need to talk about the access controls. If access cards and remotes are secure, why do gadgets interact with them? Many access systems were designed for speed and convenience, not modern cryptographic security. Older RFID formats and consumer remotes often assume proximity equals authorization. That doesn't mean every single system is insecure. It means many were designed when the threat model was different. Security often lags behind usability because charging infrastructure is expensive and disruptive. Researchers use more specialized tools to examine these systems closely. Now think about this. What's the difference between consumer gadgets and professional research tools? Depth. Tools like the Proxmax are built to analyze how access cards communicate at a protocol level. They're used by security professionals to audit real-world systems. These tools still exist because many organizations still depend on legacy access technologies without fully understanding their limitations. Access control isn't the only invisible system around us. So what happens when radio stops being hardware and becomes a software? Software-defined radio moves signal control into software. One device can receive and transmit across a wide range of frequencies depending on configuration. SDR tools are used for research development and education. They also reveal how much modern infrastructure relies on wireless signals. Once signals become visible, they stop feeling mysterious. And once they stop feeling mysterious, security assumptions get questioned. Some tools don't focus on signals directly, but rather on automating observation. Well, why would someone turn Wi-Fi auditing into a small automated device? Some projects monitor Wi-Fi environments and learn from them. They often present as educational demonstrations on how networks behave. The concern isn't the technology itself, it's the normalization. When advanced security system concepts are treated like toys, responsibility can soon fade. If Bluetooth is encrypted, how can nearby devices still learn things about you? Bluetooth feels harmless because it's everywhere. Our headphones, watches, cars, and fitness trackers all contain them. It's always on, it's always nearby, and usually invisible. Most people treat it as background noise rather than a communication channel. But Bluetooth was designed around discovery first and security second. Devices constantly announce their presence, looking for familiar connections. Even when content is encrypted, those announcements leak patterns. Observers don't need to hear what's being said, they just need to know when, how often, and from where signals appear. That's enough to build a profile. Bluetooth proximity tools can monitor device broadcasts, connection attempts, and strength signal without breaking encryption. This allows tracking movement patterns, device presence, and user behavior, even when data content remains secure. What if the safest looking keyboard is one recording everything? When people think of keylogging, they imagine malware, software hidden deep inside the operating system, something that is complex and technical. But hardware keyloggers work at a much simpler level. They sit between a keyboard and the computer, or something inside the keyboard itself. No drivers, no alerts, no software footprint. To the system, nothing unusual is happening. Keys are pressed, characters appear, and work continues normally. That invisibility is what makes them dangerous. Hardware keyloggers capture keystrokes directly from the physical signal part, bypassing operating systems protection entirely. Because they don't rely on software, antivirus tools often cannot detect them. Your phone is encrypted, your apps are secured, and your data is protected. So how can a device intercept your connection without breaking any of that? Most people assume mobile security works like a lock. Encryption on, danger off. As long as the phone shows signal bars and a carrier name, everything seems normal. But phones don't choose cell towers the way humans choose networks. They follow rules. A stronger signal wins. Familiar parameters take proximity. Convenience comes before verification. That's where these devices operate. Cellular interception tools don't attack the phone directly. They behave like a legitimate cell tower, broadcasting a signal that nearby cell phones automatically connect to. From the phone's perspective, nothing suspicious is happening. It's just doing what it's meant to do. Once connected, the device can observe metadata, such as which phones are present, when they're connected, how long they stay, and how often they move. In some configurations, it can also force older connection models that reduce encryption strength. The unsettling part isn't sophistication, it's normalcy. IMSI catches work by impersonating cell towers, causing nearby phones to connect automatically. While modern encryption limits content access, metadata like device identity, connection timing, and movement pattern can still be exposed. At this point, a pattern should be obvious. What's the real weakness these gadgets keep exploiting? Default trust is everywhere. USB assumes that all input is safe. Wi-Fi assumes familiar networks are trustworthy. Access systems rely on tokens for authentication. Radio systems rely on distance as a measure of trust. The gadgets work because systems were designed to favor usability over skepticism. So what does awareness actually change? Awareness isn't about fear. It's about handling unknown cables with care, using public Wi-Fi cautiously, and recognizing the connection between physical access and digital security. These aren't extreme measures, they're boundaries. The idea that danger only lives in the hidden corners of the internet is confronting, but many real risks live in routine, in things that feel too ordinary to question. So here's the question we're leaving with. If the most powerful tool looks harmless, what everyday technology are you trusting without realizing it? Tell us what surprised you the most in the comments below. And if you enjoy clear, grounded explanations of how modern systems actually work, watch the next video with all layers of the internet explained in under 10 minutes, and don't forget to subscribe.